Hey guys, so today I just want to do a little explanation of the infotainment system. So we've opened her up, just turned on the car, and this is kind of the setting it starts. Now, we're going to go through this fairly quickly so I don't bore everybody. Underneath, with my hand here, we have this rotary dial. The knob gives you the ability to go left, right, up, down. Of course, you can turn it, and then push it down. Rotary dial goes into radio. You can have your favorites here. Okay, I've already put in some of my AM talk, sports talk stations. Okay, we got satellite radio here, which I've integrated, and of course some FM stations. I go back left, and I get back into that radio menu. Previous, forward, all that. Station list. So this is pretty self-explanatory stuff. Search. The neat thing is that it's very quick. I haven't found any lag yet or bugs, which is great. I go into FM, and of course with FM, I can just hit that. It'll go into the other stations. I got to be careful not to play the radio too loud, or else it'll take down this video. But as you can see, right here, this is where the volume is. Nice and clean at the bottom. So perfect. Radio's pretty easy. Now, if I want to go into Bluetooth, I hit Media. This is where my Bluetooth will be, or, of course, that is playing off my stick that I plugged in, which I'm showing you right here. So I've got inside the little armrest is my USB stick. There's 2 ports for that. I can also put in an auxiliary or just play off the Bluetooth. So if I hit this again, it'll allow me to play off the Bluetooth that I have on my phone. So pretty simple. And that's how the media works. Phone. Okay, this is where you obviously would have your phone. This is what's neat about this. If I get a text message that comes in from somebody and I hit this, I can actually read the messages. And I think that's so cool because a lot of cars, they don't let you read the messages. Now, of course, when I start driving away and get up to about 5 kilometers, I can listen to it instead of read it. But if I pull up to a stop sign or a red light, I can read my messages. Pretty cool. This is contacts and everything else. Again, pretty simple. On my steering wheel here is where I can quickly press. So if I was in the home button, or home here, okay, and I just press that, I go right into phone calls. I press again, I can make a phone call. So I think that's fantastic. I'm really happy with the way you can use the phone. Navigation, I'm going to do a whole video on this. It's a great setup. Now, one thing you guys might notice is I have split screen here. And I'm going to talk about that in just a sec. Car doesn't have as much as I thought it would have. Basically, it breaks down, car status when you got to get your maintenance done, your oil and all that. But then there's efficient drive, which is kind of, I guess it just gives you some information, stats on your driving. Yeah, it's kind of cool, I guess. I guess if I learn a little bit about it, it'll teach me about how I'm gearing in my ratios and all that stuff. And then, of course, user's manual, and you can just go into this thing and search up everything. I don't need to spend time on that. Okay, so settings is where the whole thing is at, and that's kind of why I did this video. Let me just fix this a little bit. Here we go. So let's go into settings. This is where it's at. Settings has a ton of stuff. Lights. Lights, headlight sensitivity goes up to 3. 1, 2, 3. I haven't found a huge difference. I wish that one kept those LED lights running all the time. I mean, that's not going to happen. With I like the LED strip as opposed to having the headlights go on during twilight hours. When the sun's gone down, it's kind of dusk. But it seems like they really want to turn on quite easily. So 1 is the least sensitive and 3 is the most sensitive for the automatic headlights to turn on. Headlight off delay, I don't use that. I don't see there being any purpose to having my lights stay on for a little longer. I just like getting out of the car, it's off. But I see why someone would want it if they're, walking up to their front door or something. Flashlights, when you lock, of course, that's easy, obvious. Greeting lights. This is the lights outside of your car. So, I obviously want that has the exterior lighting of the car in the handles and down at your feet. Interior ambient lighting, it only goes up to 5. I really have found almost no difference between 1 and 5, but that's the lights inside of the car that are in the handles, down in the cubby holes, up above you where the buttons are to the sunroof and everything. Automatic high beam, I don't want that on. And then that's just to restore the settings. So there's not that many settings in the lights. Units and language, obvious. That's, for Canada here. I mean, if you're in the States, you'd flip this around to of course, U.S. that's how they put it in there. I think that's quite funny. Clock and date. Okay, beautiful, simple. Okay, if I go into that, it's just I can either do a 24-hour format or a 12-hour format. And then safety. Now this is something I'm a little bit frustrated with. Not the speed limiter, I don't want that. And then if you set the limiter or turn it on, you'd want to set the speed limit. Forward collision warning. This is warning and brake. Okay, near, medium, far. I want it near, and I want it to brake. I mean, and then all of a sudden someone hits the brakes. You kind of want to have that ready and on. So warning and brake, both of those on. Let's get back out here. And then, of course, I like it near. I want it sensitive as possible. Lane departure warning. So this doesn't vibrate the steering wheel. It just makes this wah, wah, wah noise. I don't like it early. In fact, I hate the thing, but it's good to have. And it allows you to, when you want to sell the car, it gives it some value too. Blind spot monitoring. This is what frustrates me. So this is just a symbol or a light that turns on in your side mirrors. It's just a little triangle that illuminates. It's too bad that it doesn't make a sound, because that's one more thing you have to look at when you're doing a shoulder check or when you're changing lanes. I wish if I turned on my flicker and I had someone in my blind spot, I wish it would make a noise, because it's just another thing to have to look for when you're looking. It's quite odd that they would miss that. I wonder if I wonder if an update on the software would change that. So that's safety. Driver assistance. Backup camera. Go into this really quickly. Other cars I haven't had the guidelines on, but with this car, I find that it's so small, the little window beside it. Okay, so I like to have my lines on. Of course, it's got the front sensors and the back sensors. So important to have front sensors, especially a car like this, where you want to obviously not put dings onto the back of the car or in the front of the car. The camera on this is excellent quality, by the way. Very happy with the camera on this rear view. So very, very cool. Okay, now let's get back into here, out there. Okay, camera guidelines, so we've shown that. Auto park brake, very cool. I've never had this feature in a car before. Love it. Press park, car puts on the brake as well. And then the brake service gives me information on that. Doors and locks, this is something that's kind of personal. I like it. Door lock in motion, no, don't want that. That means, you get in the car, you start driving away, everything locks. It's not necessary for me. Unlock all doors on exit, yes. And door unlock on entry. I like doing all the doors, just get it dealt with. I don't want to have to have a back door still locked. Passive entry, this is great. So this is where you walk up to the car, you got the keys in your pocket, you put your hand near or inside the door handle, the door's unlocked. Great feature. I call it comfort assist, or comfort access rather. Sound horn on remote start. Don't really like doing that, but I do like the horn going when I get into the car, or unlock the car rather. So lock it, unlock it, makes a noise. Okay, and that's that. Now here's 2 more that I have to go through, 3 more rather. Cluster. Okay, warning, buzzer. So this is that bing, bing, your like seatbelt chime. I like that on low. Now this I wanted to show you. So let's go into, this is again the cluster. This is in front of you behind the steering wheel. So I turn the trip B off. I don't need that where you collect how many kilometers you want from A to B, or you want that information. I don't need that in front of me. Although I do like the phone info. I love that the audio info scrolls past in front of me. Okay, and that the navigation info is there if I'm going south. But also if I'm actually setting my navigation, it will be there in front of me, and then they restore the cluster. So I think that's a great feature. Infotainment. This is one of the neat things. Split screen. Okay, look at this. So I can choose if I want audio, if I want Bluetooth, all that. But for the split screen, I personally liked having the navigation there. So that's great. My Mazda doesn't have it. It's kind of BMW-esque. So cool. So that's that. Bluetooth. I can go into there and add my phones and all that other stuff, radio. There's some features and stuff in here that I can kind of customize. There's not as much stuff. Audio settings, if I want to go into changing the bass, the treble, it even has a mid function. I do have to kind of dig deep into the infotainment system to get to there. There are buttons here like the menu and option that allows me to get in and out quick. But that's about it for actual physical buttons by the rotary dial. And then, of course, we have our media, which, again, is very similar to what I was just going over with. So that's that. And then there's the phone and navigation. Again, the phone is where you can start putting pictures. You can really, of course, I want my text messages, Bluetooth settings. You can really, it's just another way to get into the same thing we're already in. And then Android Auto comes with this car. Great. I'm not a big fan of Android Auto, but I'm going to download the app and do a video on that. System. Auto on radio. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Recall the last station. Switch off delay. That's for the car, the actual system. Software update. I could do, this is kind of more of a dealership thing. Map update. Clear personal data. User's manual. So that's just some system stuff. But there you go, guys. I really like it. By the way, if I go back to the home setting here. So at any time, see the radio stations are on the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all that, and the start. You can see how it's playing the song Wildfire right now. Well, if I press down, at any time it opens that up, and I can actually go through any of these songs. So, okay, if I want to play that station, I just hit it. So it puts on my top 5 songs I can set up, or stations rather. I think that's great, so at any time. If I hit right, it goes into what I've set it on, or what it's on there. If I press up, it doesn't do anything except for go into this feature, which is the same thing as the option button. So that's just basically it, guys. The infotainment system. I know it's not the most exciting explanation and review, but it's good if you're ever interested in getting into one of these cars. It's good to see what it's all about. Don't forget to subscribe, guys.